What is up, beautiful soul family? I want to share something, an experience I had because it helped me, and I think, hell, if it helped me, it may help one of you guys. And I'm going to do the best to explain, again, another energetic field and a layer of healing, and I'm just going to free flow it. And if you found this, hopefully you can find some tidbits in it. If you are new around here, I welcome you to follow or subscribe, depending on whatever platform you're watching on. Maybe do both. That'd be cool. It's been awesome to see the tribe grow. But if you are a part of the tribe, then you probably understand my language anyway, and know that I kind of go in circles, but you get me. So I appreciate that. So here we go. I have had some stuff coming to the surface, and it's been different layers, different dimensions of healing. Genuinely, I want to say it started back in November. And every time I think, okay, I got it. I think I get it. Then there's another layer and another layer. And it's just of different dimensions. I think you guys probably understand what I'm saying, right? Anyway, I'm going to fast forward. So I've been feeling it. I've sat with it. I've tried to do what you do, right? You feel through it and you listen to the message. But yesterday I found something really quite profound. I want to say it's Healing with Brian. I haven't watched much of his content, but he talks about trauma. But everything I have ever heard from him has been absolutely just pinpoint on target. And but he mentioned that you can't heal trauma through logic. Now, if you guys have been following me for a minute, you know, probably way back when, it's been quite a while, but through my own healing, through a narcissistic, sociopathic, toxic relationship, a lot of my epiphanies, my ahas, anything, I give credit to spirit. But the only way I found any of those, that relationship, I say it now, it's like it's the most asinine thing, but he was the biggest blessing because of all that was cracked open. I got to see so many beautiful truths. But what helped me get through, I think, all of that was the surrendering. Was, showing up for that inner child, loving myself, grace. Oh, that's what I was going to say. But what I give most credit for as far as my healing goes was genuinely seeking with all my heart. I'm pretty sure there's a scripture about that, but seek with all your heart and you'll be answered. So there are things that are so beautiful about giving yourself the faith and the grace and the surrendering to the divine and free falling, which is an act of faith. Because when you're going through these healing aspects, it's not pretty. It's tumultuous nights. A lot of guys, I'm like the most sensitive soul out there, I swear. If you guys knew how many nights I lay in bed and I just, whether it's out of tears of intimacy with the divine or riding the wave of the collective or my own shit. I always say, blame it on my Cancer moon. But fast forward, I'm kind of getting off topic, sorry. having some of these things come up, and then I heard that some of these things you can't be healed through logic, but they need to be felt. And that was what was really profound. So, and we're all on these different planetary stations. I think Neptune and Saturn are taking different stations with Aries and Pisces, and I'm not an astrologer, but I do know, and then we're coming up on eclipses. I think we have a retrograde coming up. I feel it. I know I feel it. And last night, my new mantra is, may my lessons be as painless as possible. Like, can we just ease into it? Because the radical healing that I went through with that one relationship, while it was the most light epiphany awakening, it was a lot of excruciating pain. And we did fast forward. I think we fast forward through a lot of that by me being willing to sit with it over a year's worth of time to really fill into everything. But as I'm saying, there's still things that are coming up, right? So taking what he taught me, takes 6 minutes to get to this, sorry. Last night I chose, knowing damn well I'm getting ready to expose some wounds that may be tender, and preparing myself to just feel into it, and taking what this guy was saying to a different level. So I began to feel into it. I allowed the emotions to arise. I allowed myself to go, okay, where is this coming from? Why is this triggering? Because, remind you guys, like, a lot of the things that are happening right now is nothing more than the knock to a deeper wound that's been suppressed, right? So I sit in it, and I'm going to be just vulnerable and kind of share with you guys some of these intimacies, because I think it's so important. It goes back to the childhood wound. For me, about love, feeling, and it's really weird because on a cognitive level, you look back and it's like, I was never abandoned. This is where I think a lot of healing, we struggle with healing, right? We grow up more like, some of us will be like, our childhood wasn't that bad, but on an emotional level and feelings that a lot of times we can't even identify as a frequency, harnesses, and it's in the body. And so I allowed myself to go into that. I allowed myself to fully feel it. And I'm an analytical thinker. Apparently that was a trauma response too. But I overanalyze and I think my way through things. But I got to the point of the tenderness, and then remembered what this Brian said, that you have to feel it. You can't think your way through it. And this was so profound. So I allowed myself to feel it in my body. Where am I feeling this as I am crying? And I feel the contraction, the purging of the deep tightness. The clenching within my body. And then also, in this moment, I become observant of where my hands are and the way in short, in dropping into this feeling of my body, I allowed myself to read my body language too, which is kind of silly maybe, because why would I need to read my body language when I get to feel I'm in my body, right? But reading my body language and what I was feeling kind of together, I felt shame. That's how I identified it, was shame, which was really surprising to me, because the last time I really have identified shame was actually through the breakup of the toxic, the narcissistic empath dynamic. And the shame I had felt then, a lot of it was that I allowed myself to rev so far away from everything that I love dear and who, you know what I mean? Like becoming exclusive, by, what's the word? Like I basically abandoning everybody I knew, you know, when they, what's the word? Exclude you, they kind of slowly like strip away all your, I felt shame because I had abandoned my soul family, my friends, my family, and I just felt a shame for the relationship, knowing all the shit I had put up with. And so when I identified the shame last night, it was not identical. It was not identical at all. And it took me a minute to really, and I think that's why I almost had to read the body language. It's like, what is this? I don't really fully understand. But when I read the body language, so is it different layers of different shades of shame? That's what I felt. 11. But in that moment of identifying it, giving it to God, and then remembering God is within me as well. And that's through other intimate moments where she has reminded me that my light is our light. And then this is why it was so powerful. I identified it, a different shade of shame, felt it, learned my own, observed my own body language, and then giving it to God, recognizing God is within me. We are one. And when I surrender, I admit to knowing nothing. I don't know anything, guys. 12. I am a baby. I am an infant, especially in this world. And I look at so many of these spiritual gurus and I'm like, oh yeah, how would it be? But the deeper I go into these frequencies, the more I realize I don't know anything. And the only thing I have is my faith and my testimony. That's what I really have. For all I know, you guys are all just avatars of my imagination. I love you guys. I love you. So, but this is the next thing I'm leading to. As I identified it, and I was no longer really thinking, I was just in a flow, a different kind of purge happened, and it was through the third eye I could see it. It was as I was contracting and crying and that pulsating, so too was recognizing and remembering, it was just 13, wow, the light that was coming through me, that is in me, our light, me and the divine's light, right? Purging, it was like it was coming out of my pores as I remembered that. And simultaneously, a purge through the mouth and through wasn't necessarily crown, just through here, I guess I was purging. Toxic, dark, like smoke, simultaneously, like being filled with the light. And it was so powerful. And the moment I just kind of, and I imagine it's just a layer. I mean, I'm still breathing, so I got a lot still to learn. But as it finished, it was also flooded with peace. I want to say it was peace. It wasn't not happiness, just a peace. But I didn't realize, I didn't identify, I didn't know that layer, that shade of gray, of shame, still existed. But it has been surfacing, I think, since November. I'm not even saying that this cycle is done. But we are moving into the new year of the horse and shedding the last, I think maybe it'll be like the year of the horse, I think it's like this week. we're literally shedding. And for me, it was a shedding of a layer of toxicity. Could I have got there through my logical mind? Maybe. In times past, I logically walked myself through the dark night. Times past, I was able to logically see that I am okay and I'm safe, and these feelings, the body keeping score. And I logically held my baby girl, a lot of healing. I think it was, I really give a lot of that. Seek with all your heart, all of your soul. You will not be denied. But if you're half-assing it, if you're keep on looking outside of yourself, if you keep on distracting it, that's when it's going to be a constant knock on your door. Anyway, I just wanted to share that. Thank you for listening for the last 15, 16 minutes. I love you guys so much. Maybe it helps. I don't know. I know that there's a lot of energy moving. And it's probably going to continuously happen so long as we are breathing. Anyway, I have so much love for you guys. Until next time, namaste.